Welcome everybody to the first of hopefully many installments of Alex's Disorganized Thoughts. I welcome you to the pod, our first pod of this new adventure for me. Before we get started, obviously I am your host Alex Naranjo, and a little bit about me as we begin our first episode here today. I currently reside in Tampa, Florida. Born and raised in Miami. Spent some time in Orlando, where I met my La Esposa, as she's more commonly known. Had two fantastic kids, and we live here in Tampa. I spent some time interning for an MLS franchise. You guys know where I lived. I just told you, so do the math. And really been around soccer, U.S. soccer. It's kind of what I've been around, but I've always grown up a sports fan and kind of loving pop culture and mainly sneakers. That's really my big love. So I'll be your host and your guide on this fantastic journey through my mind and the disorganized thoughts that it is. I mean, we're going to be bouncing around all over the place, and we'll have a good time. I'm going to make you laugh, make you think, a little bit of everything here. We're not going to shy away from any topic. It's just me, so who's going to tell me no, right? At the end of the day. So for those of you watching on YouTube, welcome. Finally have YouTube going. Make sure you pound that subscribe channel down there. You see a particular jersey behind me today. So this will be something I will be doing for every episode. It'll be changing. I do have one planned for the next one already. Will not tell you. But for this first episode, I really wanted to honor someone who I happened to meet while I was interning with Orlando City, and great dude, someone I'm very proud to say that I know. I wish he'd be still playing soccer. He's had a couple injury problems. Hopefully he can bounce back. But that is a authentic game used Atlético de Ottawa. So that is the Canadian Premier League team that's actually an affiliate of Atletico Madrid. So they actually go over there and train there for preseason. And that is Brandon John, defender, number 4. He is, like I said, great dude. Honestly, a very good central defender. When he played for OCB, came back from injury, ended up becoming the captain of the team towards the end of the year. It was a rough year, but you can tell when he came in, there was definitely some leadership there. So, Brandon, if you're watching, man, thank you so much for the jersey. There it is. Finally, we got it up. We got a YouTube episode coming. And you're number 1, man. I had to have you there as your first one. So, once again, thank you so much, Brandon. And like I said, there'll be a different jersey there every week, and I'll make sure to give you all a little story and talk about it and kind of tell you why it's there this week. I do have a lot of jerseys. Eventually, though, they are going to start repeating. I mean, I don't have enough jerseys for this pod. My La Esposa will not let me buy that many jerseys. So let's keep expectations kind of par for the course here, guys. All right. So starting off, first random musing that I kind of wanted to get into. As I said in my intro, and I kind of said where I'm from and stuff like that. I am a sneakerhead. I'm a sneakerhead. I love my sneakers. I got way too many shoes. I think right now, total count of sneakers is somewhere in the 70s. And I know some of you probably are thinking, why do you need that many sneakers? And the answer is I don't know. But I do. And to be fair, and La Esposa will vouch for me on this, I do rotate and I do pretty much wear all of them. I mean, there are some pairs that I probably haven't worn in a couple years, some like old school Omni pumps from Reebok. Just things like that she really despises, and I just hardly wear them. But I got them, and every now and again, when I'm not hanging out with her, I will have that. But so this brings me to my latest purchase that I made, and the shenanigans that ensued with the product. So I went ahead, and for those of you who don't know, and I'm very open about this, and it's something I've kind of become kind of an advocate for and really vouch for. My oldest, Landon, as I call him, my best friend, is diagnosed autistic. He is on the spectrum and had a lot of therapies that he went through, and still has his things, like all kids on the spectrum do. And there are their good days and their bad days. Not gonna lie to you, last week was a rough one. But it's part of what makes him him and what makes him special, and I wouldn't have him any other way. I really wouldn't. He's my best friend. He's now at the perfect height where we can ride things like at theme parks and water parks. So like now I have a riding buddy, and he's nuts. Like he'll ride roll. He's already ridden like Cobra's Curse at Busch Gardens and Scorpion. Like he's on flip roller coasters, as he says. Like he's a badass. He really is a badass. Well, my friends at Adidas, and more so Donovan Mitchell, who I'll get to later, hopefully future member of the Miami Heat. They are Donovan Mitchell and one of his players, I believe it's Joe Ingles, are very involved with autism awareness and support out in Utah. It's a very noble cause. I was actually unaware of this until I saw these shoes. I actually have them here with me. And well, that was my phone falling. Fun times. And well, I ordered the shoes. First I saw the shoes and I told La Esposa, like, hey, I'm gonna order some shoes. Like these are autism awareness shoes. Like this means so much to us as a family and to me personally. Like I'm gonna get these shoes. And her response to me was, no, wait, please, stop spending my money. It's an ongoing joke here. I'm a stay-at-home dad. She has a very, very nice living, so it's afforded me the luxury to be a stay-at-home dad to take care of these two boys, 5 and 2, I'd like to add. So she told me, stop spending my money. I proceeded to that night, like I didn't even hesitate. Like I recorded our old pod, this and that night, and I actually told Mondo, I'm buying these shoes. Like I'm throwing the veto here. Like I don't care what she says. I'm buying them. So I went ahead and I purchased the shoes, and I'm excited because I'm gonna get them. And normally Adidas uses FedEx, but for some reason they decided to use LaserShip. And I hadn't had many experiences with LaserShip in the past. They had maybe have one pair of shoes for me and they came in. No big deal. However, when I see they're using LaserShip, I also see an article on the news that says, from I believe it was Nice Kicks, I forget where I saw it. Manager at LaserShip arrested for stealing Nikes. So immediately my first thought is no, they're Nikes. They're not going for Adidas shoes. They're not gonna do anything like that. Like no. I mean, and the shoes were already in Tampa. Like the shoes were in the warehouse in Tampa when I read this. So I'm like, I'm gonna get the shoes the next day. Like there's no big deal. Next day comes, no shoes. Next day comes, no shoes again. At this point, I start getting a little curious as to what's going on. The shoes are supposed to be delivered on Monday, and it's now Wednesday. So Thursday comes, nothing. I send an email because there's no way of calling LaserShip. Like, who are you going to call? Which, by the way, their community on Reddit is called LaserShit. So that should tell you where we're going with this. Well, they email me back some generic bullshit that they're going to look for it. 12 hours later, I get a response like, hey, we can't find it. It magically disappeared. Contact Adidas. Like, not even like, hey, we'll figure it out for you. He's like, no, go fuck yourself. Go call Adidas. They'll handle it. And whatever. So I call Adidas and tell them know what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And they go look at it and they go, yeah, looks like they lost it. We'll refund you, no problem. You have to reorder the shoes. Okay, no problem. So at this point, I'm getting ready to head down to Miami for Mondo and the former La Fiancée, now Miss Naranjo Garcia. Congratulations again, guys. They going down for their wedding. So I ordered the shoes and I shipped them to Miami thinking, okay, they probably won't use LaserShip because I live in this pretty small part outside of Tampa called Waimama. It's a really small town. I mean, it's growing. We're up and coming, let's say. But it's a small town. So I figured maybe it's because that's why they use LaserShip. I'm going to send it down to Miami, and hopefully they use FedEx, UPS, something that's not LaserShip. Much to my chagrin, I get the alert. Oh, it's being sent with LaserShip. Oh, fuck. Here we go. You heard already that I got it. They actually got to Miami 2 days early. So it's like almost like they made up for that being gone. And I've honestly, when I get new shoes, I tend to wear them. But these I feel like I'm wearing even more so just because how much they mean to me. And as you can see, they're gray with what I personally prefer, the puzzle piece autism logo. Just because you're just missing. You're just a different puzzle piece. Everybody's a different piece in life, right? And kids with autism, they're just a different shaped puzzle, and there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm glad that, again, here's the puzzle piece and autism awareness on the back. It's very important to me that they went with the puzzle piece. Like, that really means a lot to me. The logo recently changed. It's almost like an infinity logo, like a ribbon, and they included like the rainbow flag because it unifies. I personally do not like that logo. I prefer the puzzle. Call me old-fashioned, call me whatever you want. I prefer the puzzle piece, but like I said, it's a nice gray shoe. It's got colors all around, really giving it a fun vibe. And then on the top here, it's got a nice quote, determination over negativity. And for someone with autism and dealing as a parent of someone with autism, that saying means the world. It is really, really true. You have to have immense determination to rise above the negativity that comes your way, because it will come your way. It's not easy being a dad of someone with special needs. You know, and I know there's a lot of you out there that are in this boat that I'm in, and it's not difficult. It's not easy. And it never will be, but through determination and not negativity, we get through, right? And we push on and we move and we go forward. Speaking of moving forward, MLB really, like, this year, like, and I know this is kind of a weird jump going from that autism and being a great autism parent to talking about baseball like nothing happened, but these are the things that happen in the mind of Alex's disorganized thoughts. So, like I said, baseball's been going in a kind of a weird direction this year. They've really done a lot of I think this is the Nike influence. A lot of different uniforms and a lot of different things and different hats for Father's Day and Memorial Day and July 4th and socks and like there's a lot more. Like, before it used to be like periodic, but now it's like I feel like it's really they're really going for it. Between New Era and Nike, they're really pushing the envelope, and I think it's a needed thing for baseball. It draws eyes, and at the end of the day, baseball has a problem of just getting more and more viewership. So yeah, you know what? Are these City Connect uniforms a little bit of a gimmick? Yeah, they are. Excuse me. But they're a fucking fantastic gimmick. I love most of these City uniforms. There are very rare the case where they miss. Like, I would say the Angels was probably a miss, almost too plain. Excuse me as I drink some water here. That was a little too plain. There's been some other ones that, like, I really wasn't a big fan of the Wrigleyville Cubs one. Like, I get it. Okay, sure. But there's been some just doozies. Story time. I used to play, back in the day, was on a co-ed softball team called Los Cerveceros, which translates to literally the Brewers. Like, there were actually games where they had like Hispanic Heritage Night for Milwaukee where they wore Cerveceros instead of Brewers. So we actually loved it, and our shirts were like powder blue with yellow. Like, we went real like retro. We were retro before retro was like the thing to do. But they had fantastic City Connect uniforms with the Brew Crew on it, and these ones that San Diego are going to be wearing this weekend, oh my God, they might be my favorite one. I love the tropical look. I love that South Beach, Miami Vice, I guess in this case Tijuana, Bali kind of vibe, and those San Diego jerseys and hat, just that's a perfection, my friend. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I love the fact, and this will give you a perfect segue, that the teams that got it last year are wearing them again for the most part. Because I know I've seen Boston. I know the Marlins are wearing their Sugar Kings uniforms every Saturday. So that, I feel like, is a really cool thing. It's going to start adding uniforms to baseball where you only had your typical 2-3 jerseys. Some teams had 4, like Arizona were like the Oregon Ducks of baseball, with like 75 jerseys and hats combinations, it felt like. Or you got teams like the Yankees that only have 2. I'll be very interested to see if they ever give the Yankees one of those City Connects. I mean, they did it with Boston. They did it with the Cubs. They've done it with the Dodgers. I feel like it's coming. It's just a matter of maybe when, not if, I guess, for the Yankees. But I'm very curious to see what they do. Like I said, they've been great. And like I said, the Marlins are wearing theirs, which I don't know how the Marlins are doing today. Let me pick up my phone. Whoop, I'm back. And they have been doing really good. Sandy Alcantara is probably going to start the All-Star game. He's hands down front runner for the Cy Young right now in the NL. Like he was just amazing the other night, going 8 strong, striking out 10. But he's not even my favorite player on the team. My favorite player on the team is doing the Euro step, baby. We're doing the Euro. Jazz, man. I love me some Jazz Chisholm. He's amazing. He will be starting at second base. It'll be crazy. The Marlins going to have 2 starters at the All-Star game probably this year, and well deserved. Jazz is arguably the best second baseman in baseball. Just all around, just superstar player. He's going to be a star for a long time, and I really, really hope the Marlins are able to lock him in. And Sandy's locked in for a while, and just wow, what a stud, man. I mean, this team, if they can ever figure it out, like there's so much scary talent on this team, this Marlins team. But the team that's honestly really, really impressed me as far as this baseball season is the New York Yankees. I'm not a big Yankee fan. Those who know me know I take great pleasure in the Yankees' demise just because, evil empire, all that fun stuff, even though they haven't really been much of an empire lately. They are just absolutely killing it. And I'm not even going to go into what the Yankees' record is. The easiest way for me to tell everybody like how good the Yankees are doing is by basically bringing up their biggest rival. The Boston Red Sox went a remarkable 20-6 in the month of June. You'd think of a month like that, like, wow, man, they're here come the Red Sox. They lost ground on the Yankees. They lost ground. The Yankees gained a game and a half in the month of June. Like, that's ridiculous. And their lineup is obscene, top to bottom. Stanton finally isn't hurt. Judge is playing for that next contract. Judge is providing judgment and going for some cash. It's scary to see. And that pitching staff, man, Garrett Cole hasn't been, I don't feel like he's been that great, but they've had everybody else, like Nasty Nestor. I love Nasty Nestor, man. Like, that guy's fantastic. So I really think they're the odds-on favorite right now to kind of take it. I mean, it's easy to pick them. As far as in the National League, the Dodgers will always be there because, I mean, that's another lineup. I mean, adding Freddie Freeman in the offseason, just like the rich getting richer. Like, come on, man. If you can't beat them, I guess if you can't beat them, take away their best players, what the Dodgers went with this time. So yeah, I mean, I feel like we're going to have a Dodgers-Yankees World Series, which obviously media markets will love. You get L.A., New York. I think the last time that may have happened was Reggie Jackson with the 3 home runs off Florida Marlins inaugural game starter. One of them was Charlie Huff, actually, fun fact. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the baseball season plays out. One interesting thing that I'm going to keep watching, and I don't know if you folks on Twitter have seen this Twitter account. It's called Ump Job, and it's basically anytime an umpire, it's not anytime, whenever an umpire tries to make himself bigger than the game, they're going to be there and they're going to call you out on it. And a lot of the time it's pretty funny. Some of the times you see some of these ball strike calls that is ridiculous. And we're going to end up with a robot strike zone. Like, it's what's going to happen. It's what's going to happen. I'm fully convinced that's what's going to happen. We're going to end up with a robot strike zone, and balls and strikes are going to be taken out of the home plate umpire's hands. There'll still be an umpire there for, excuse me again, balls for if did he swing, plays at the plate, things like that. But at the end of the day, I think we're coming to some sort of hybrid robot strike zone. Maybe even the challenge system, kind of. I heard that one mentioned recently. I think it's in the minor leagues right now, where it's kind of like tennis. You're given a certain amount of challenges, so you're not just slowing down the game to slow down the game's sake. So, like, if it's an important call, you can say, "Hey, challenge it," and then you have the build up and stuff like that. Apparently, it's doing very well in the minor leagues, so we'll see exactly what they do. But I definitely tell you guys, check out at Ump Job or also at John Boy Media on Twitter. Those are two fantastic baseball accounts. If you really want something, it will make you laugh. Boys at John Boy are hilarious. And Ump Job, it's if you're a baseball fan, you'll appreciate all the things that they do because they show everything. Like there was a trend apparently in college baseball this year when players hit massive home runs for the umpire to not let the guy strut and like push them along. Like, dude, I just tattooed the ball. I'm gonna strut. Like I'm gonna dance if I want to. If I want to do cartwheels down the line, I'm going to. Out of my way. So yeah, whenever they make it about themselves instead of the game, I guarantee you they'll be on Ump Job, and more often than not, they'll probably make you laugh. Before we go on to our next topic, I actually want to give you guys a little bit of a tour here. Some of the things you see here on camera, besides my good friend Brandon's jersey again. Over there, we have all my credentials from all my time at Orlando City, U.S. Soccer, MLS. Basically, every event that I went to, I got a separate credential, so I'm able to fill up 3 nail hooks with it. You see my scarves there. That's my real team up there, Liverpool. The Rowdies here, local team, gotta support the local club, and of course Orlando City. That's my MLS team. And over my shoulder, you see the logo for This and That. The original podcast where Mondo and me started, and Central Florida Fan Parking Only, because yes, I am a Knight living in Tampa, which is always fun conversation for people when they see me wearing my UCF shirt or my car that has a UCF tag on it. So it's always a good time. Horns down. That being said, jumping into our next topic, it was championship season over the last month, man. We had the NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Final, singular, just one, come up, and both series ended in 6. Both series were absolutely amazing. Both Western Conference teams won. I will say the Avalanche playoff run in the NHL was probably one of the most dominant playoff runs I've ever seen. They went 16-4. You know what I'm saying? Like, they lost 4 games the entire playoffs. That is amazing. They swept in the Western Conference Finals. Like that, they were fantastic and a well-deserved champion. If only the Stanley Cup can be delivered to the right house. You're asking why I say that. Well, apparently, so for those of you who are not familiar with the Stanley Cup, after you win it, which, by the way, before I get too far in, the Stanley Cup is the greatest team sport trophy presentation in the United States. Period. End of story. I don't want to hear it from anybody in baseball, football, or basketball. Why are we giving trophies to the owners? They didn't do shit. Hockey's got it right, man. They give it to the captain. Like they put their blood, sweat, and tears to come in and win that cup, man. There is nothing like playoff hockey. So that's why, in my opinion, the Stanley Cup gets it right. Like they hand it to the players. And that being said, that trophy, it's not like the NBA, like the Larry O'Brien or the Commissioner's Trophy or the Lombardi Trophy where the team keeps it. That trophy actually goes back to the Hall of Fame. Their names get engraved on it, and it goes to the next champion. Like, no one keeps it. They get miniatures of it, but they don't keep the actual Stanley Cup. No, they don't. It goes back to the Hall of Fame. So what they do is every player is allowed 1 day with the Stanley Cup. Basically, they get to do whatever they want for 24 hours. For 24 hours, the Stanley Cup is their possession. So you always see videos of like kids or dogs or animals drinking out of it, or like it's on the pool, or it's in the barbecue. It's doing a barbecue or something, like something funny. You know, like the Stanley Cup's like just another person hanging out. Apparently, though, in Colorado, they went to the wrong house and showed up at some random guy's house and was kind of like, "Hey, is that Stanley Cup? Yeah, aren't you expecting it?" No. So there was a whole big confusion. Eventually, they found the player was like maybe like 2 streets over. They went to the wrong house, and the guy's like, "Well, I guess now I'm an Avalanche fan since Stanley Cup came to my house." He took a couple pictures with it. He's like everybody was like, "Why didn't you touch it?" He's like, I didn't know what to do. I was so surprised. Like, so can you imagine that? And just because I want to have one stupid stat in this pod, the Stanley Cup Final was the first time in NHL history where both teams did not end in an S. I want you to think about that. Lightning and Avalanche. Usually you have Panthers, Stars, Sabres. Think about it. There's not many teams that don't end in S. They played each other. First time in NHL history. That's one of those like stupid stats that I like. And that's one champion. Speaking of another champion out in Cali, the Golden State Warriors proved that their depth was greatly, greatly exaggerated. They honestly they ran through it, man. I was very happy. Like, this was more satisfying, I think, for them than their first title because of everything they went through. And you can see the reactions, that the results that it's had to trickle down, because I fully believe Kevin Durant doesn't ask for a trade if they don't win the championship, because now the pressure's on KD. Which, by the way, like, first of all, this dude went from OKC to Golden State, not necessarily like, challenging himself. And has it been lost on anyone that the two teams he wants to be traded to are the two number 1 seeds from the playoff, Phoenix and Miami? Don't get me wrong. Hey, come to the Heat, bro. Let's go. Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, like, whatever we got to do. Duncan, bro, gone. Just keep Bam and Jimmy. Like, those two are untouchable. It's crazy, though. It's crazy that he wants to get traded. It's absolute madness. But either way, we're not talking about Durant right now. We're talking Durant's for another time. What we're talking about is Golden State and Steph. And I will say, I was very, very annoyed throughout the finals and throughout the playoffs. Like, the whole narrative that Steph Curry needs the final MVP. He needs the final MVP for his legacy. What the fuck are you talking about? The guy is the greatest shooter anyone has ever seen. Anyone has ever seen. The guy was I want to say he was the very first unanimous MVP, 2-time MVP, say what they want about them choking in the finals, and they did. They had the best regular season in the history of the NBA, with him as the best player. Like, he should have been the MVP when Iguodala won the MVP. Like, in my opinion, Steph Curry might be the greatest point guard of all time when you factor everything in, because he has great assist numbers. Yes, they're not Magic numbers, but Magic couldn't score like Steph could. Now, I don't know if maybe it was a different game, but I didn't think Magic had the kind of pure shot that Steph did. Not to say that Magic couldn't work on it and get to it, but honestly, there's an argument to be made for Steph. He's 4-time champ, Finals MVP, 2-time MVP. How many times All-Star Game MVP, Finals MVP now, because apparently he needed it. I think there's an argument that could be made that Steph Curry is, in fact, the greatest point guard to ever play in the NBA. I think the argument could be made, and I fully believe it. He's definitely in the top 10. And that's always tricky, because who do you take out, right? I mean, for me personally, just offhand, I got Mike, and this is in no particular order. So you got Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, Shaq, Larry Bird, Magic, Steph. Then I would probably go Kareem, Duncan. Oof. See, you get tricky. It gets tricky here at the end, because you can make an argument for Hakeem Olajuwon. You can make an argument for Bill Russell. You can make. I'm gonna put Bill Russell. Bill Russell will be my 10, just because, I mean, rings, bitch. That nobody's got more rings than him. But there's so many players there. Excuse me, that you can make an argument for. Like again, Hakeem Olajuwon is probably the biggest one that comes to mind. And even like on the 75 list, like not having guys like Dwight Howard and Clay on there is mind blowing to me. But then Anthony Davis, man, it's another story for another day. But it's just it's crazy, man. It's crazy to see just how people keep sliding on Steph. I don't get it. I really don't. Like, I feel like now he's finally getting some respect. But let me tell you, I loved the pettiness from him and Clay and Draymond after winning, because you know what, you won. Talk your shit. You won. You're more than welcome and entitled. More so entitled to talk your shit, because you're the champs, man. You're the champs. What are they gonna tell you? What's anybody gonna tell you? It's just one of those things that people get annoyed. Like Memphis is heavily annoyed. Like John Moran and the Grizzlies are, first of all, they're talking way too much shit for a team that hasn't won squat diddly, and secondly, like that's gonna be, I think, Christmas Day, if you don't get a finals rematch, because that was a great finals series. And I think the Celtics have improved significantly. So that may be a Christmas game too, though, with Memphis, because they're spicy, man. Like Memphis needs to. I don't poke the bear. Like, it's one of those things, you don't poke the bear. You don't poke Steph Curry and Klay. Like those two guys are still in their prime, and what's scary is they're built for the long haul with Kuminga and Wiseman. Like they're made to they could easily win one more title, maybe two, maybe three. Like, and I'm not bullshitting, because if these guys develop like they should, you're going to get like a nice cross there as Klay and Steph and Draymond kind of start dropping a little. You're going to get Kuminga, Wiseman, everybody else, Jordan Poole coming up. Like, and Poole's already almost, Poole you could say is there, man. Splash party. Like, it was great to watch, and it's scary to watch, like, especially for my Heat, because, like, you look at it and the Eastern Conference is going to be stacked, and then you got the West, Golden State, there's teams out there, Phoenix, they're going to reload. I hate to say, the Clippers are going to be good, because, you're going to have Kawhi and Paul George back. And I hate to say it, but the Lakers should improve. Hopefully, maybe. Or we're just going to deal with another year talking about how much the Lakers suck and what's wrong in LA and how come they can't get it right and blah, 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 even though there's plenty of other teams that are doing infinitely better. But on that note, folks, that's going to be the end of our first episode. I really, really hope that you enjoyed it. Please remember, for those of you on YouTube, you can see these signs, but I will tell everybody, please remember to subscribe, download, rate, review, and comment, please, especially on YouTube and where all the pods are located. I will greatly, greatly appreciate your feedback. If you want to get a hold of me and reach out to me, there are multiple ways. You can reach me on YouTube and Instagram at Alex's Disorganized Thoughts. Just search for that and you'll find it. Or on Facebook and Twitter at Alex Dis Thoughts. So check out those two if you want to find me on social media. Or if you really didn't like what I said or really liked it and you feel the need to email me, you can feel free to email me at alexdisorganizedthoughts@gmail.com. Once again, thank you for joining me on this first episode. Might have been a little bit funky. Hopefully it gets better as we go